you so much. From Lahore, I was to travel to Pakistan's other major cities, and Jamaat Islami arranged for me to hold conferences to highlight the issue of female prisoners being held by the US. What I'm hoping is that you, once again, will rise to the occasion and find prisoner 650 for me. The Pakistan military has had a big part to play in this shocking, shameful episode. And I would advise those involved and still involved in the disappearance of brothers and sisters to come clean now and reveal the full extent of their complicity. I now want to know, where is 650? What is her mental state? Why were they holding on to her in the first place? Let's get all the disappeared, all those prisoners who are locked away in secret dungeons, let's get them all out, return them home, and start moving on from this disgraceful episode which has been brought to us by George W. Bush and his war on terror. My campaign was very much upfront and in your face, but there were many others working quietly behind the scenes, even in the shadows. Some were searching for Pakistan's disappeared, others were looking for justice, and some were simply looking for the truth. Barbed wire, armed security. It looks like a scene from deep inside Baghdad. We're actually outside the Supreme Court, a place where people go for justice, but they're certainly not getting it at the moment. And one such person is Amina Janjawad. Mrs. Janjawad, can you tell me what you're doing here and why you can't get in?
I can't get in because my husband is detained for more than 3 years.
So he's one of the missing
prisoners. I was the petitioner for not just Masood, but for many hundreds of people who are missing like this.
Have you any idea where your husband is?
Yes, in the detention facility of Army, in the heart of Rawalpindi, which is the area called Chaklala Garrison, in an underground torture cell.
If I told you that Dr. Afia Siddiqui is not prisoner 650 and that prisoner 650 is still out there somewhere, would you be surprised?
Yes, but not much, because I know there are women inside. I have registered more than 5 cases of missing women. So it's not something new. I know that there are being abductions of women and even children. And there are other female members also in Bagram.
Journalist and human rights activist.
Well, if you mention cage prisoners, that would be...
Stand by. Play.
क्यों सर?
The issue of Pakistan's missing persons has received a substantial amount of media coverage, with many cases stemming from General Pervez Musharraf's rule. In the aftermath of 9/11 and the invasion of Afghanistan, he openly admits in his personal memoirs that millions of dollars were handed over in bounties from the US in exchange for Al-Qaeda or Taliban suspects. Amina Janjawad's husband is one of the disappeared. The plight of these silent prisoners has now become an open secret in Pakistan, and many speculate some have been put on rendition flights bound for secret locations outside the country where they are denied justice.
Okay, now we accept that Pervez Musharraf from a third world country and third world country rulers, particularly dictators, are very vulnerable and they are weak. But what about those who are buying human beings for $5,000? Is it not reminiscent of the slave trade which used to go on? I mean, somebody should question them.
But of course, the US military insists that torture no longer takes place in its detention facilities.
We are doing right by these people that we are maintaining in our custody. And I feel very comfortable and can look at myself in the mirror every morning, confident that I am not doing something morally wrong or breaking the law in any way.
And you're satisfied that there's no more torture going on?
Absolutely, 100%. I will guarantee you that there is no torture going on. I will guarantee you, stars on the table.
But most prisoners are held without charge, and human rights groups say they fear that these ghost detainees are often exposed to torture. Bagram, Guantanamo, Diego Garcia are names frequently mentioned, but European countries are also implicated.
If you trace Bagram and all the prisoners there, then from Bagram they have been taken onwards to some of the European countries. Some Eastern European countries who have now joined up with the European Union mostly, but some even Western European countries where they have set up the torture camps. There were these rendition flights and rendition. So when you go to a prisoner and trace him that he went to, or he or she went to Bagram, then you may find that onward he had got to another destination. So many countries of Europe will stand exposed. It will not only be America, but the European countries are not raising the voice. They know that this is wrong, but they are not raising the voice because they are accomplices in this gory drama which has been played out.
And the friends and family of Dr. Afia Siddiqui believe she also became a victim of these dark injustices, beginning with her audacious kidnap from the streets of Karachi in March 2003. It was in a taxi like this that Dr. Afia Siddiqui made her journey into the unknown. She had her babe in arms and her other 2 young children next to her. She said goodbye to her mother, jumped in the metro taxi and headed off. Some people say to the airport, others say to the train station. Either way, she never reached her destination. The car was pulled over in a joint operation by Karachi police and other agencies, including the FBI. Eyewitness accounts say that Afia was pulled screaming from the car, slapped across the face by a female American agent and bundled into the vehicle. The next 5 years are a mystery. There were initial reports and confirmation from Karachi police and the FBI that Afia Siddiqui had been arrested on terror charges. Then suddenly everything went quiet. Of her 3 children that went missing, 1 has now been returned to Pakistan by the Afghan government, but no one knows the fate of the other 2. My campaigning seemed to have paid off, and I was told that a senior government civil servant wanted to talk to me on condition that we did not identify him. He said he had been shocked by what he had witnessed over the last few years.
I think that what I have come to know through these meetings, the Americans never mentioned about $5,000. They have always talked about hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the lowest amount is $50,000, not $5,000. If the government will demand of them that these people are innocent people, then they may demand the amount they have paid against those prisoners.
What, you think the Americans would ask for their money back?
Of course. Why not? It's their right. In my opinion, this government is willing to do something for prisoners. I can't say that this government is like previous government. But this government is feeling helpless on certain accounts because those prisoners were sold. One thing. Number two, this government is facing a lot of economic problems. They are still asking for help, seeking help from America and its allies. So they cannot press, even though every day Americans are coming and bombing Pakistan's territory, killing innocent men and women. This government is feeling that they can't survive without American help.
Dr. Afia Siddiqui still insists she was taken to Bagram and held there for 5 years. The US government disputes this strongly, but it did originally deny ever holding women at Bagram in the first place, a statement it has since retracted. I needed to find a reliable eyewitness, and with only a few days left in Pakistan, there was a major breakthrough. My star witness was Dr. Ghirat Bahir, who had previously served as Afghanistan's ambassador to Pakistan. He was also removed from his home in Pakistan in the middle of the night and held by the US without charge for 6 years. He was regarded as a high-profile detainee because of his close links with the former Prime Minister of Afghanistan, Gulbuddin Hekmatyar. Dr. Bahir was held in several dark sites, but he was eventually taken to Bagram.
When I was in Bagram, we used to have one lady prisoner, and whose presence in the jail was of heartbreaking for all of us. When she was pushed backward and forward by the American soldiers, it was against our culture, against our religion. I couldn't ask her full identity, but she was in solitary confinement. She was my neighbor for a couple of weeks, and she used to be taken to shower, to doctor, to interrogation in public in front of all the detainees. But finally it was understood almost by every detainee that she was losing her mind. She was finally mentally disturbed. She was not acting properly.
The Americans said that she was treated humanely and within the spirit of the Geneva Convention.
Actually, no one was treated humanly, not only that specific lady. All of us as a prisoner, we were not treated humanly. If I go to my experience, I was in a room, they call it a dark prison, and I couldn't see anything for 6 months. And that room was equipped with 3 loudspeakers that you can't sleep forever. And I was locked to the wall for almost 24 hours. And I lost 30 kgs of my weight in 1 month.
Did you see any more women prisoners in Bagram during your 6 years there?
No, I didn't. But yeah, they have one prison in Bagram, which is open to ICRC, where we were there. But in just 5 minutes from that prison, there's another prison basement that is not open to ICRC. People are taken there for interrogation, for torture, and then they are moved to this place. One can suspect that that might be another big number of female prisoners as well.
As I bade him farewell, I realised that it was imperative we went to Afghanistan. This was not part of our plan, but the burning desire to get to the truth made it impossible to return to London.
Because some other friends are waiting for him as well. They will be joining you.
Right.
Okay.
Most people heading for Afghanistan choose to fly. To go by road is regarded as too dangerous, especially for foreigners. But with time running against us, we had no choice. And it was a decision which nearly cost us our lives.